episode, Caribbean Mugging, Debriefing, and Criminal Protection Sterling Services. Well, we were back in our RV cargo plane. We debriefed on our unfortunate mugging at the clearing near the Pitons of St. Lucia in the Caribbean. Tiny looked sad and he looked quite guilty, and he declared, "Me wrong to go on excursion. Me should just stayed with the plane and protected this everything stuff." Tiny continued to speak despite his extreme struggle to do so. "Me protect, me drive, me pilot, fly, and me transport." Tiny concluded as he moved his arm from left to right and pointed at each of us, and he said, You alls goes on as missions, and yous go without me. Sarah looked to Tiny, seeking to comfort him, and she spoke. "It's not your fault, Tiny. You were like everyone else there, a victim. If you, or anyone for that matter, did anything, you and everyone could have been hurt, or even killed. Tiny, you did the right thing, and nothing could have been avoided," Sarah assured. Bob audibly grumbled, as if to ensure that everyone heard him. "Sure, right. There was no way to avoid what happened, except maybe we could have not gone on vacation at all, and just stayed home, safely here in the RV. And then all this mess and hardship would never have happened." Bob further grumbled his speech that everyone could hear. "Heck, we should have seen when Katie nearly parasailed right into that boat's mast, that it was a sign from above. We should have seen right then that it was a sign that we should stop. But did we stop? Did we listen? No. We didn't heed that warning. We just kept on going. And here we are. We're victims of being mugged on an excursion. We really are on hell difficulty." Taylor looked visibly annoyed and glared at Bob. She almost growled at him. "We are on the G team. We vowed to protect humanity, regardless if the need is great or small. We committed ourselves to helping those in need in the context of the greater good. We never said that it would be easy, or that it would be without threat or peril. But we will inflict tenfold the pain in retribution for whatever is done to innocents, or what has been done to us." Taylor punctuated her point with a dark, albeit playful, and perhaps telling finger gesture of her shooting a fictional hand pistol at a target, followed by a simple and quiet pow, pop, drop. Sarah jumped in and suggested, "You know, it may not be a coincidence at all that we ended up here, right up to now, and including your being mugged." Sarah affirmed, "I have faith that this is just part of God's plan, and I believe that this is God's will, or it would not have happened at all." Sarah divined, "It is what we do about it that defines us, and that defines our future. The safety of others depends on what we decide and what we do." Taylor interrupted and said, "Okay, Well, I say we define ourselves by hunting down these scumbags that mugged us and getting both justice and our gear back in the process. Taylor growled fiercely. We need to find and stop these muggers, minimally, so they don't mug, hurt, or kill anyone else in the future. Taylor paused, still ferocious in demeanor, and she declared, "It is our duty as God's knights to do good wherever and whenever we can. God is our commanding officer. God is our CO. And we are his soldiers. We follow his orders. We cannot question our CO. We must follow God's orders. Period. It is out of our hands. Again, it is our duty." With all that passion and almost zealotry, Bob looked apologetic, and he agreed with Taylor, nodding as he spoke. Yeah, of course. I hear you. We need to stop these scumbags. I was just saying, clarifying, that the event was avoidable by just not going. I was just saying." Taylor looked to me and reminded, "We made a plan to hunt down these thugs. We said that we would go to a bar and ask around if anyone might know anything about these tourist muggings. Is that still the plan?" she asked. Well, I nodded and answered, "Absolutely. Were it not our plan already, we should make it our plan. There aren't many places that we can just go and ask about muggings, after all." I joked. Sarah interjected, "Unfortunately, our GPS-tracked comms watches are not broadcasting. They must be turned off, so they're not going to help us find the muggers." Tiny struggled to speak, but he suggested, "Maybe protection guys might know something. They often works with doors, they knows peoples in belly underground." Taylor almost excitedly declared, "Great idea! We can call those shotgun-toting Sterling Service Protection bodyguards that we saw on those billboards. We can call, interview, and even hire them." She emphasized, "Great idea, Tiny." Katie implored, "This is getting way out of hand. It's getting way scary, crazy fast. Can we stay together from now on? At least, can we all stay together, at least whenever we leave the plane? Remember, like we always have been saying, there's safety in numbers, right? Safety in numbers?" she asserted fearfully. I mean, there is just too much danger out there. Everywhere. It's everywhere." She trailed off a little despairingly. I agreed and sought to rally the team, and I said, "Hey, let's go to the Church Street bar on Beach Street tonight. I read about it online. It's called the Irie Bar. Aside from being a good place to check out, it'll be a cool thing to see, while we're on mission." I had to share my insight on the word Irie too, and I shared, "Hey, did you know that the word Irie is a real word? It's of Jamaican origin. Irie or Erie, I don't really know how to pronounce it, so I'm just going to call it Irie. It means all right, cool, or great, or simply merriment and nice. I suppose Irie distills to just a general sense of, well-being and good. Yeah, like positive vibes, good times. With my vocabulary lesson attempt over, Bob put us back on topic. And Bob recommended, hey, let's get focused here. We have a real mission now. We need to make a plan, he stressed. Bob suggested, why don't we combine the two ideas? We call the Sterling Services Bodyguards outfit from the billboard ads, and we have them meet us tomorrow night at, your Irie bar. Sarah grinned and she nodded in agreement, and she said, I will go this time on this excursion. I will go too. As it neared time for us to head to the Irie bar, Taylor took lead and loaded up another KT tote bag with a lot of gear. Knives, pistols, pills, sprays, ammunition, explosives, and of course, grenades. Well, it was a lot of stuff. We put on new KT Communications comms watches as well. And we synchronized our watches so they were all talking to each other together. The island temperature, even at night, was still pretty warm, if not actually hot. And so we planned to travel in our same tourist excursion vacation wear, which we imagined would also further help us just blend in. Sarah had made arrangements through my daughter, Amanda, who was at the time attending St. George University in the Caribbean. Amanda operated as our financial broker and our transaction middleman. Oh, I have to go on a tangent here. On pontification. Is a female middleman now in this world of, PC talking, a middle woman? Or is everyone now just called a middle person? I wonder really what is the point of changing and contorting language that everyone already knew? Just, to change for change's sake? I don't get it. Well, anyway, back to Amanda handling our money and our purchases. Amanda gave us an additional layer of separation with anyone that we transacted with. Amanda further obfuscated her transactions by using a virtual private network or VPN, and then further tunneled through other addresses. She spoofed her internet protocol IP address as well to appear as someone else, somewhere else in the world entirely. And she used Knights Templars' financial bank accounts and their subsequent manufactured identities. And so, in the end, it was all untraceable. Amanda made contact with Sterling Services Bodyguards and she paid them $20,000 US as a retainer for a job to be specified at the introduction rendezvous point at the Irie bar on the beach. Amanda specified that the hiring agency in contact would be known as KT. There was, bottom line, no practical way that Sterling Services Bodyguards Protection Group could know who we were. At least they could not know who we were until they met us on Church Street at the Irie bar on the beach.